Creamy, delicious spinach artichoke dip does not have to be reserved for special occasions or dinner parties. With my healthy cottage cheese spinach artichoke dip, you can feel good making a batch to enjoy as a high protein snack or dinner side any day of the week. It has all the creamy, cheesy, tangy goodness of the original, but without the unhealthy fats or unnecessary calories. I've made it flavor rich and nutrient dense with cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, mayo, mozzarella and Parmesan cheese, fresh spinach, artichoke hearts, and fresh garlic. I love keeping a batch in my fridge for dipping with vegetables, healthy chips, or even as a spread on sandwiches. Now I like to use as many fresh ingredients as I can, so we're going to saute some fresh spinach. But of course you could use a frozen spinach if that's what you have on hand. So I have a pan here on medium to high heat, and I'm just going to drizzle in a little bit of olive oil. And then I'm going to take 4 cups of fresh spinach leaves and go ahead and drop these right into the pan. Sauteing spinach is definitely #satisfying because it's so fun to see this big pan of leaves cook down within a minute or two. So we're going to go ahead and just sprinkle on a pinch of salt as well as a pinch of some onion powder. And then we'll just want to give those a gentle stir so that all of the spinach leaves have a chance to get a little bit of oil. You can see how they're already reducing in size. And then we'll just want to continually stir it until all of the leaves are wilted. It's smelling very fresh and healthy in my kitchen right now. And now that the spinach is all cooked, we want to go ahead and just transfer it to a paper towel lined plate. And that's going to help soak up the extra moisture. And then we can just set this aside to cool. Next, we want to prepare our artichoke hearts, and you'll just need a 14-ounce can of artichokes. And so first you'll want to pour out any of the excess liquid or the brine. And to get out as much liquid as possible, you can use a towel, or I'm going to use this nut bag. I'm just going to pour the rest of the artichokes in it, and then I'm just going to take my bag here and begin to twist it and squeeze out any excess liquid. Now, of course, if you're very ambitious, you could cook your artichoke hearts from scratch, but I think the can is just so much more convenient. And now that I've squeezed out all the liquid, I want to go ahead and transfer them to my cutting board. And then I'll go ahead and take a knife and just chop these up nice and small. And this will make for a really delicious bite in our dip. Ooh, these smell so delicious. And then once the artichokes are chopped, we'll go ahead and transfer them to a medium-sized mixing bowl. And then we'll take our cooked spinach and go ahead and just roll it up in our paper towel to be able to help squeeze out any excess moisture. You can go ahead and squeeze that. You'll see any moisture come down onto your plate. And then we'll want to unroll these onto our cutting board. And then we want to go ahead and chop these up into very small pieces because no one wants to get that long spinach stem in their bite of dip. And then we'll go ahead and add our chopped spinach to our mixing bowl as well. And while we have our bowl out, we'll go ahead and add our cheeses. And I'm going to add 1 cup of grated mozzarella cheese. And this is going to really enhance that Italian flavor as well as add the creamy cheesiness that we all love. And to add even more cheesy flavor, we're going to add some shredded Parmesan cheese. Now, I prefer to buy the block of cheese and shred it myself because the pre-shredded cheese that you purchase from the store has likely been coated in cellulose to help keep the pieces from sticking together. So I like to avoid as many unnecessary or artificial ingredients as I can. I'll go ahead and dump in 1/4 cup of our grated Parmesan cheese. And now we get to mix the creamy base for our dip. And we're gonna start with 1 cup of cottage cheese. And you can use small curd or large curd or non-fat or low fat or whatever your preference. And the great thing about this dip is that we're going to blend the cottage cheese so that it no longer has that curdled texture, which some people are not very fond of. But it allows us to have all the nutritional benefits of cottage cheese as well as that creamy, cheesy flavor. And an additional superfood to add to this dip is plain Greek yogurt. This contributes even more protein as well as all those wonderful digestive enzymes. And then to add some healthy oil, I'm adding 1/4 cup of my homemade mayonnaise, which I make with extra light olive oil. This will make our dip even more creamy and have a really wonderful consistency. And for our seasonings, we're going to add 1 fresh clove of garlic, 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a dash of pepper. And then we'll mix this on high until it's well blended. So halfway through, I'm just going to scrape down the sides with my spatula just to make sure that everything gets well incorporated. If You can see how it's already breaking down all of that cottage cheese texture. Okay. Ooh, that looks perfect. And I seriously wish you could smell this because it smells like an Italian restaurant here in my kitchen. Now we can go ahead and add our cream mixture to our mixing bowl. And then we'll go ahead and just mix all of these ingredients together. That looks amazing. Now, one of the many things I love about this dip is how versatile it is. You can enjoy it cold or slightly heated or even baked. Now, one thing to keep in mind if you do want to bake this is that the Greek yogurt can curdle when it's at high temperatures. So you want to bake it at probably about 250 degrees and then just keep an eye on it. You could also warm it up in a saucepan over the stove and then just continually stir it just until the cheese is melted. Or you could put the bowl in the microwave and then just heat it till those cheeses are nice and melted. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and spread the dip in my bowl so that it can heat a little bit more evenly. And then I'm gonna put this in the microwave in 40-second intervals. So this is after one interval at 40 seconds, and it's definitely starting to melt, but it's not quite there yet. So I'm just gonna give it a good stir and then spread it around so it can heat evenly, and then I'll put it back in for another 40 seconds. Okay, so this is after another 40 seconds, and you can see we're getting those yummy strands of cheese, which means that it's nice and melted. So I'm gonna go ahead and transfer this to a pretty serving dish. And I love this green dish because it really enhances the colors of the spinach in the dip. Well, that is a gorgeous dish of healthy cottage cheese spinach avocado dip. And I think my stomach just growled. One of my favorite ways to enjoy this dip is with sweet potato chips. Make sure we get a nice piece that has some spinach and artichoke. Crunchy. That is so good. That is a burst of amazing Italian flavors. You get the creaminess from the cottage cheese and the Greek yogurt, and then the smoothness from that little bit of mayonnaise. And then you get the flavor from the fresh garlic, as well as those artichokes. And then you get a little touch of earthiness from the spinach. And then those Italian seasonings just wrap it all together in an amazing, flavorful bite. And I guarantee that none of your guests will have any idea that it has cottage cheese. So having a healthy dish like this in my fridge definitely helps to satisfy any snacking cravings that I get, even if it's for something sweet. When I know I have something that's this delicious and savory, then it's real easy to pull out some carrots or some healthy sweet potato chips and be able to enjoy. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today in my kitchen. And if you'd like to see the full recipe card for this video, it's in the video description below, as well as on my website, which is gentletummy.com. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you know someone else who you think would love to have this healthy, delicious dip recipe, please share this video with them. And I cannot wait to have you again with me in my kitchen next time.